Give us some background here, John.
Well, look, I think one of the common stories that people have looked at with Twitter in recent months is after the high-profile splashy IPO, what's going on with the growth story? You know, currently their user base is nowhere near the user base of Facebook, despite the fact that they've got a very large business that has been growing, relatively speaking. Now, you're talking about somebody here who was the central figure in the story of how are we going to grow the business, somebody who had a great track record, time at Pixar, and in part because they had seen the departure of a previous head of their product side, Michael Sippy, kind of was carrying that torch of how to lead the company's growth strategy. Again, as we highlighted, based on what we've seen in recent earnings reports and some of the concerns from analysts on the growth side, there's been a lot of pressure on Twitter to deliver on that front. And we did see them recently hire someone named Daniel Graff from Google, Betty. Daniel Graff is a guy who was well known for his role in the growth of Google Maps. Remember when that was a whole fiasco with Apple Maps being rolled out and Google having an opportunity there? Daniel, behind the scenes, got some credit for that. So Twitter hired him, brought him in to be their new lead on product. And I think at the end of the day, Twitter feels like, what are we talking about when we're talking about product? Somebody who can make the user experience that much better that you, A, get more people interested in using the service, and B, get people using the service for a longer stretch of time. So now that Daniel's inside the company, I think this happens sometimes. You've got two people whose job is kind of to lead growth. Who exactly is doing it? Ali's been there for 4 years. Maybe he decided it was time to move on. I don't know that this necessarily signals that you'll have somebody step into the job of COO. I mean, titles inside these companies, maybe sometimes we read too much into that. But certainly...
It sounds like no, John. I mean, it sounds like they don't want to have another COO.
I mean, I think that that's fair to assume that it's not like, you know, we're moving or one CEO's leaving and we have to find another. They just found a new person who's there to lead their product strategy. And the challenge for Twitter right now, I think, is they want to grow. They want to keep people on the platform for longer periods of time. How do we do that? Daniel's the person who's going to be pushing that strategy along. What does that mean for Ali?
And John, I just want to switch gears for a moment because I know virtual reality gaming. Look, you were at the E3 gaming convention. Virtual reality, all the rage there in LA. The Oculus Rift headset garnering a lot of attention there. I saw.
Well, it is pretty incredible. You know, I think one of the things when you think about the virtual reality technology, Betty, is, and the gameplay that's associated with it, you think a lot about first person. You put on the headset, and then you can see your hands in front of you, or you play those first-person shooter games. Certainly there's a big opportunity there. What was interesting for me was that I played a third-person game. It was kind of like playing playing Sonic the Hedgehog as a kid. And experiencing that traditional gaming world, but in a 3D or virtual reality environment where you can look all around you and there's this different world. So the gaming opportunity is huge. When Facebook acquired Oculus, a lot of people wondered if they'd maybe move a little bit away from gaming to pursue big time the opportunity of communication. Here's what we asked the Oculus CEO. Here's what he said when we asked him about that.
We're really focused on the game market, and a lot of people think, oh, well, it's going to go into communications and these other areas, and now Oculus is part of, you know, Facebook, and they're going to not be focusing on gaming as much, and that's really not true. The foundation of VR is built on a game engine. It's built on a 3D scene that you have to render in real time at an incredible high frame rate, which is what game developers do best.
I wouldn't say the whole industry is on board with this so far. I mean, we spoke to Xbox's Phil Spencer. They're not really pursuing this just yet, Betty. But a lot of people are scared to say no, you know, because if this takes off in a big way, they don't want to look stupid. So certainly there are a lot of game developers that are thinking a lot about this. We spoke to the head of EA yesterday, and they're toying with a lot of ideas as well.